What is going on, everybody? It's the France, and we're here with an overview and review of the G1 Climax 33, which has been going on since July 15th and just wrapped up about an hour ago, or a couple hours ago, as you'll be seeing this at like 10 a.m. EST time. This was not the best G1, 32 participants, and we'll go over them here in a second. A lot of head-scratching booking in this entire event. Things that just... Ugh, we'll talk about it. The A block was Sanada, Hikuleo, Yota Tsuji, Renarita, Kaito Kiyomiya from Pro Wrestling Noah, Shota Umino, Gabriel Kidd, and Chase Owens. The B block was Kazuchika Okada, Will Ospreay, El Phantasmo, Taichi, Tongaloa, Kenta, Great Khan, Yoshihashi. While the C block held David Finlay, Evil, Tamatonga, Eddie Kingston, Shingo Takagi, Mikey Nichols, Aaron Hanare, Tomohiro Ishii. And the D block gave us Tetsuya Naito, Zack Sabre Jr., Jeff Cobb, Alex Coughlin, Hiroshi Tanahashi, Hiroki Goto, Shane Haste, and Toru Yano. That is your 32 field of 32. Biggest positive coming out of the G1 Climax 32 over the G1 Climax the G1 Climax 33 over the G1 Climax 32. The scheduling. Last year, one of the biggest drawbacks is they went to 28 men, I believe it was, 28. And that meant they had 7 guys in a block. 7 guys. And the biggest problem with the G1 Climax last year was that they went, up until I think the last night of block action for everyone, they decided they were going to do one match per block every night. The biggest, which, fine, it sounds fine and good and everything. The only problem with this was somebody like a Zack Sabre Jr. did not even have his first block match until we were like a week and a half into the tournament. And then you would have guys like an ELP or Tamatonga who had to wrestle 2 nights back to back or 3 nights back to back for block action to be able to catch up and everything. It was an absolute mess. Absolutely atrocious. And really, then of course, you had the winner of a Kazuchika Okada, which was a makeup for the year before. This year, with there being 32 guys, they decided that instead of having 4 matches, 1 match per each block, they would do A and B, and then C and D, and alternate those days. So you would have A and B block matches, and then C and D block until we got to the final night of each block action, and then they split them up and had A, B, A have its own night, B have its own night, C, and then D have its own night. One of the biggest negatives, in my opinion, was the fact that we went from 30-minute time limits to 20-minute time limits. And we saw why they decided to do that is because they wanted more time limit draws. They didn't want to just have everyone go, they didn't want 30-minute matches. And now, obviously, with having 8 matches going, with a 30-minute time limit, there's a possibility of every match going 30 minutes, and that's like a 4-hour show, and you don't want to do that. So to cut down on it, they absolutely went with 20-minute time limits to do that. Even though, from watching G1 Climax 32 last year, we didn't get any 20-minute time limit, past the 20-minute mark at all until we got to the main event of any one of those nights. So that felt kind of weird that they would even go out there and say that you needed that to happen. Now, A block to me was an absolute mess because you had another negative for this tournament, and it's not the tournament itself, is that the fact that the powers that be, the bookers, the people backstage, whatever, decided a few days or weeks before, a week before the tournament, that they were going to christen Red Narita, Shota Umino, and Kaito Kiyomiya. I'm sorry, not Kaito Kiyomiya. It's Red Narita, Shota Umino, and Yota Tsuji as the Riway, because they're in the Riway era, 3 Musketeers. Basically saying these guys are our future. These guys are going to be the guys we're going to rely on for the next 10 plus years, 15, 20 plus years. And then we get the scheduling for the G1, we get the blocks, and all 3 men just so happen to be in the same block. They were in the A block. The A block was the young block, minus Sanada and Chase Owens. Everyone else was in their first G1. So it was like, what are they going to do? That became very apparent with I think it was the very first night of action. I think it was the very first night. Here, let me see here. Yeah, very first night of action, the fourth match of the show. Ren Narita, Shota Umino went to a time limit draw. Very first show. We had Yoshihashi El Phantasmo. Yoshihashi defeated him. Chase Owens defeated Gabe Kidd in what was Bullet Club versus Bullet Club War Dogs. Gabe Kidd. One of the biggest things about Gabe Kidd coming out of this is that everybody on social media, all the fans, everything seemed to want to see Gabe Kidd become the leader of Bullet Club. I know, like, just his actions and the way he went about things in this thing, he definitely was over with the crowd and became definitely one of those ones that the crowd popped for. He had a draw with Kaito Kiyomiya later in the tournament that you could just tell that Gabe Kidd is going to be a face of, like, a gaijin face of this company going forward. If this guy's here for the next 10 years wrestling for New Japan Pro Wrestling, it would not surprise me to see Gabe Kidd becoming a champion, a world champion in everything. So, yeah, it's definitely going to be one of those things that we're going to have to see where he comes from and everything. So, there was that. So, night one's results: Yoshihashi beat ELP, Chase Owens beat Gabe Kidd, Tongalo defeated Kenta, Shota Umino, Ren Narita went to a draw, Great Okan drops to Shuji Okada. Great Okan's definitely getting this reputation of being a guy who performs well all year round, but when the G1 comes around, he always flatlines. I don't know what it is. Like last year, he had a terrible showing. This year, again, a terrible showing. Kaito Kiyomiya went over the first of the Relay 3 with him beating Yota Tsuji, which at the beginning of this tournament, when I saw Kaito Kiyomiya was put into the same block as the world champion, I was like, this guy's going to be he's going to be the second guy to come out of the block. It's going to be, obviously, they're giving the run to Sanada, but it's definitely going to be Kaito and Sanada coming out of A block. That was not the case, and we'll get to that as we get forward. Taichi defeated Will Ospreay, which was a big shock to me, but of course, in that match, the biggest tell coming out of that match was Sanada, Taichi clipped Ospreay, and Ospreay sold for the remainder of the match that his equilibrium was off, his balance was off, and everything, and it cost him in the end, as Taichi was the one to pick up the win. And then Sanada beat Hikuleo in the main event. So, night 2, David Finlay would take on and defeat Tomohiro Ishii, Koto over Toriano. Mikey Nichols defeated Hinare. One of the biggest stories coming out of C block was the transformation of Aaron Hinare to just Hinare, who shaved his head, shaved his mustache, and got tribal tats all over around his nose, on his nose, and the bottom part of his face, and the mouth and jawline and everything. He is from New Zealand. It is a tribal thing there, and this was the first time we actually got to see his new look, as at the press conference 2 nights before, 2 days before, whatever. He came dressed up, he had his face covered, everything covered. You did not know, people were wondering, why was Hanare's face and everything covered? Well, we found out here that he is going for a more savage look to him. But he dropped, and this match with him and Mikey Nichols, I just was like, he's definitely going to end up killing somebody, because this dude decided to adopt a more vicious headbutt style over everything else, and it's like, did y'all not learn from Katsuya Shibata to stop relying so much on shoot headbutts? Shibata almost died, and you guys are still going to just go out there and continue to shoot headbutt. Shane Haste over Alex Coughlin. Eddie Kingston took on Shingo Takagi in what was one of the earlier matches of the tournament, as he beat him. Zack Sabre Jr. over Hiroshi Tanahashi. And then what started out as one of the crappiest runs of them all, Evil took down Tama Tonga. In the same way he won all of his matches in the rest of the tournament. Low blow, everything is evil, 1, 2, 3. And I think one of the biggest shocks of the tournament to start out was Jeff Cobb going over Tetsuya Naito, with everyone expecting Tetsuya Naito to win. Tetsuya Naito, which again, I think it started out the same way last year too, is he dropped his first 2 matches and then, picked up some more wins. Night 3, Kaito Kiyomiya won over Chase Owens, Kenta over Great Khan, Gabe Kidd over Hikuleo, Taichi over Tongaloa, Ren Narita and Yota Tsuji again went to a time limit draw, and I'm like, here we go. Like, Ren Narita and Shota Umino, in my opinion, felt like that was going to be a time limit draw because since those two have come back, they've been at each other's throats the entire time. Like, of the Relay 3, as I call them, Yota Tsuji to me has the most upside, while when it comes to the other two, Ren Narita and Shota Umino, those two feel like they're going to be at each other's throats for the next 10-15 years. They're going to be the guys going at each other. And like when we look back at this, if they both find their way and make themselves to be legends of this company, you're gonna look back on those two as the wars they went through. Whereas Yota Tsuji carves his own path and doesn't really mix up as much with those two. Will Ospreay defeated Yoshihashi, Sanada defeated Shota Umino, and Kazuchika Okada beat ELP. Now, the biggest thing about this match between Kazuchika Okada and ELP, we found out, I believe it was 2 nights later, or a few nights later, was that ELP went into this match with a heavy heart because like 2 hours or so before this match happened, he found out that his grandfather passed away. His grandfather was supposed to pass away, he said, a couple months beforehand, and the guy held on for a lot longer, and ELP was here, not able to really do anything but go out there and try to have a match as well as possible. And yeah, it is definitely one of the most heartbreaking things that you hear coming from ELP is the fact that he went out there and fought against Kazuchika Okada without even, like, he went out there and you couldn't even tell, like, if anything was wrong. He just looked like his normal self. Like, he held that stuff in and went out to have, probably up until that point, the best match I've seen him have in the G1, and that includes last year going into this year. His best match would come on the final night of block action. We'll get to that later. Night 4, Zack Sabre Jr. defeated Toru Yano, David Finlay over Mikey Nichols, Jeff Cobb over Alex Coughlin. Unfortunately, Evil had to beat Eddie Kingston in a 15-minute match that nobody wanted to see. Like, Eddie Kingston has put on banger after banger, has some of the best matches in this tournament, and he couldn't even get a good match out of Evil. Man, it's a shame that they had to put Evil over Eddie Kingston. Hiroshi Tanahashi over Shane Hayes, Aaron Hanari over Shingo Takagi, Tetsuya Naito over Hiroki Goto, and Tama Tonga beat Tomohiro Ishii. Night 5, we saw Yoshihashi over Tonga Loa, Gabe Kidd over Ren Narita, which I missed these 2 matches because I overslept, unfortunately. Great Khan versus El Phantasmo. Okan picks up the win there. That was his first win of the tournament. Chase Owens defeated Hikuleo. It's kind of funny seeing these matches coming back and seeing these with how the results ended. Will Ospreay over Kenta, which we got to see a glimpse of classic Kenta in that match. Kaito Kiyomiya over Shota Umino with a time limit draw there, which was an absolute shock to me. I did not expect to see so Kaito Kiyomiya beats Shota Tsuji, draws with Shota Umino, which only tells you that he was losing to Ren Narita in the final match of block. Right there. Okada over Taichi, and then Sanada over Yota Tsuji, which was a rematch of their match from Dominion, but I think the match with Dominion was better. Night 6, Zack Sabre Jr. over Alex Coughlin, Tama Tonga over Mikey Nichols, Hiroki Goto over Shane Hayes. Eddie Kingston defeated Hanari in what was one of the best matches of the tournament so far. Tetsuya Naito over Toru Yano, Shingo Takagi over Tomohiro Ishii, which was, again, another great match. Jeff Cobb over Hiroshi Tanahashi, which was a shock to me as well. They really, at this point, Jeff Cobb is leading D Block, and it's all in his hands from start to finish. And David Finlay defeated Evil in what was a mid-match. Both House of Torture and most of Bullet Club War Dogs was out there to counteract each other. Shillelagh title shot to the Evil's face, and Evil loses his first match to David Finlay, because David Finlay should not be losing to Evil. Night 7, Will Ospreay defeated Great-O-Khan, which was a really, really great match. Shota Umino defeated Gabe Kidd. Kenta over Taichi. Shota Tsuji over Chase Owens. El Phantasmo defeated Tom Galora, which this match here started a chain reaction to what we have seen at the end of the show with El Phantasmo hooking up and associating himself with the Gorillas of Destiny, Tama Tonga, Tongalo, and Hikuleo, and we'll get to where that's leading when we get to it. Hikuleo defeated Ren Narita, Kazuchika Okada over Yoshihashi, and Sanada defeated Kaito Kiyomiya at 19 minutes and 58 seconds. This was, through the entire A block, Sanada's greatest challenge was Kaito Kiyomiya. And we'll talk about Sanada and the look they made, how they made their world champion look coming out of the G1 Climax. Night 8, Evil defeated Hanari in 12-minute snoozer. Alex Coughlin defeated Hiroki Goto, which was when they showed off that he's using the jackhammer as his finish, which is fantastic. Shingo Takagi over Mikey Nichols, which was another great match. Hiroshi Tanahashi over Toru Yano, meh. Tomohiro Ishii defeated Eddie Kingston in what was the best match of the tournament to this point. Eddie Kingston already in the Night 8, halfway through the tournament, and he is having two match of the tournament contenders out the gate. Shane Haste over Tetsuya Naito, which was a massive shock to me, the fact that Shane Haste beat Naito, of all people. Tama Tonga defeated David Finlay, which in my opinion will lead to Destruction in Kobe on the 24th of September. And then Zack Sabre Jr. lost to Jeff Cobb, which was another shocker to me, meaning Jeff Cobb, going as far as we have gone, is going to be, going into, towards the end of the tournament, the way it's going, Jeff Cobb is, it's up to Jeff Cobb to, it's in his own hands to make it out. The night 9, Shota Umino defeats Chase Owens, Taichi defeats Yoshihashi, Kaito Kiyomiya and Gabe Kidd ends in a double countout draw, which this brawl between these two, the crowd was popping and loving from start to finish. Tongalo defeated the Great-O-Khan, Hikuleo defeated Yota Tsuji, El Phantasmo over Kenta, which was a really good match, Sanada over Ren Narita, and Will Ospreay did something he has not done yet. Beat Okada clean as a whistle. He did it in this show. On the 9th night, July 27th, he had beaten he beat in a 1-month period Kenny Omega and Kazuchika Okada. Something I don't think anyone else has ever done. Will Ospreay did it. David Finlay on night 10 defeated Hanare. Toru Yano defeated Jeff Cobb, which I knew as soon as I saw Jeff Cobb and Hanare and Jeff Cobb and Toru Yano. I knew that Yano was beating Jeff Cobb. Jeff Cobb undefeated by this time. Jeff Cobb hasn't lost a match. Jeff Cobb looking strong. It's like, how do you screw up Jeff Cobb's run? I know. You have Toru Yano beat him. Saw that coming. Eddie Kingston defeated Mikey Nichols. Really good match. Tetsuya Naito defeated Alex Coughlin. Evil over Tomohiro Ishii. Snoozer. Zack Sabre Jr. defeated Shane Haste. Really fun match for the TNDK guys. Tama Tonga and Shingo Takagi. This one was a very interesting shock to Tama Tonga and Shingo, which, when the way things ended in block, it really didn't matter. It really didn't matter. So I don't know why they did it this way. Hiroshi Tanahashi defeated Hiroki Goto. On night 11, which the main event here really didn't matter with the way the results ended. Night 11, the tournament, we saw Hikuleo defeating Kaito Kiyomiya, which was a big shock to me. Great-O-Khan defeated Yoshihashi. Ren Narita defeated Chase Owens, which I think, was Ren Narita's first. Which Ren Narita, I'll talk about him in a minute. El Phantasmo defeated Taichi. Really good match between those two. Sanada defeated Gabe Kidd. Tongalo defeated Will Ospreay, which I believe it was Sanada versus Gabe Kidd was the first and only time Gabe Kidd came to the ring first, because Gabe Kidd's entire MO the entire tournament was his opponent comes out, he attacks him from behind. This is the only time he actually came out first. Tongaloa actually defeated Will Ospreay by countout. So that was basically so Okada could win block and not have Okada. So Okada could win block and everything, and it was just like, why? Yota Shuji defeated Shota Umino, which was a shock to me. I for sure thought this was going to time. You had Ren and Yota go to the time, and Shota and Ren go to time. Why didn't you have this one go to time? And Kazuchika Okada defeated Kenta. By the way, Kenta took the Defy World Championship to Japan with him, and he went through the entire G1 Climax, recognized as the Defy World Champion, which is really awesome. Night 12, Alex Coughlin defeated Hiroshi Tanahashi, which again was very shocking to me that Hiroshi Tanahashi put over the young guy. Mikey Nichols defeated Evil, which this one bugs the heck out of me that you had, especially with the final night of block action, which the next four shows are going to be that. And we'll talk about that here in a bit. But Mikey Nichols was actually able to beat Evil in less than 10 minutes. Toriano defeated Shane Haste. Hanare defeated Tomohiro Ishii in another good match. Hiroki Goto defeated Jeff Cobb. Eddie Kingston over Tama Tonga, which I honestly thought was not going to happen, but it did. Naito over Zack Sabre Jr. and Shingo Takagi defeated David Finlay. Again, another shocker to me. Gotta say, Night 12 had a bunch of shockers on it, with Eddie beating Tama, Shingo beating David Finlay, and Alex Coughlin beating Hiroshi Tanahashi. And then Night 13, we had a bunch of tag team matches that really don't mean much. United Empire defeated Just 5 Guys. Chaos defeated Bullet Club. House of Torture defeated LIJ. Who gives a crap? United Empire, Hanari and Will Ospreay defeated Toga Makabe and ELP. Chaos defeated... And Hiroshi Tanahashi defeated the Guerrillas of Destiny and Hiroshi Tenzan. Then we get to the final of A Block. Going into this, Kaito Kiyomiya and had pretty much, it was win in you're in, I'm pretty sure. Let me go down here for the blocks. Kaito Kiyomiya would have won, he would have had 8 points, and he would have been tied with Hikuleo or Shota Umino, depending on what the main event. Unfortunately, Kaito Kiyomiya would drop his final night of block action, going down to Red Narita. Yota Tsuji beat Gabe Kidd. That match really didn't have a... I honestly thought that was going to be a draw as well. And honestly, Gabe Kidd and Yota Tsuji had a really awesome, fun match. And it's like, if these two went to a draw, I wouldn't have been mad at all. Sanada defeated Chase Owens, which, honestly, if they wanted to have Chase Owens win by countout, I wouldn't have been too, yeah, okay, whatever, but no. Sanada finishes G1, his block action at 7-0, beating all 7 guys that he went up against. And Hikuleo, and when we got to the last night of block action, I'm like, Hikuleo's going through. Hikuleo's going to beat Shota Umino, and Hikuleo's going to move on to the G1 Climax 33 brackets, because they were having... we're going to have an A1 and A2 go on to the quarterfinals. We have quarters, semis, and finals this year. Unlike last year where you had the final 4 and then the semis and finals last year only. So it's like Sanada wins. Sanada didn't manage. Sanada picked up 10 points and was in one A block with 2 matches to go. 2 matches to go. He had A block 1. That's how badly and poorly they booked A block. He won in 9 minutes, and then Shota Umino lost to Hikuleo in 17-21. Night 14, which was the B block finals. Yeah, Just 5 Guys going over Ryohei Ariwa and Kaito Kiyomiya, which those guys teamed up 3 times after block action was done for Kaito, and they went from being like, it's whatever, it's with the Young Lions, to having some chemistry and working well together, and I actually like those 2 teaming up together. Ishii and Tanahashi defeated TMDK. United Empire defeated Hiroshi Tenzan and Tama Tonga. Bullet Club defeated Toga Makabe and Eddie Kingston. LIJ defeated House of Torture. Can we stop having House of Torture in shows, please? Thank you. On the final night of B Block, Kenta beat Yoshihashi. The final night of B Block, only one match mattered. it was your main event. Will Ospreay and ELP. Only match that mattered. Everything else didn't matter what happened. No way Tanga Loa was going to beat Okada. Okada actually the night before, during the post-match scrum, post-match comments, actually went out of his way to really, like, royally bury Tanga Loa for being soft. And they really didn't have the best match out there. It wasn't the best match. I know Okada's had better matches. Tanga Loa, he wants to have a singles run. He wants to do the single thing. He doesn't want to be in a tag team, which we'll talk about that here in a bit. But Okada won. Great Khan beat Taichi. Match really didn't matter. Kenta defeated Yoshihashi, and Will Ospreay defeated El Phantasmo, which was El Phantasmo's best match of his tournament. And Will Ospreay is so good. Absolutely so good. He made ELP look like $1 million. ELP's two best matches were against Kazuchika Okada and Will Ospreay. Not shocking at all. C night. The last night of C block, you had United Empire over Kaito Kiyomiya and Ryo Iiwa. War Dogs, Bullet Club War Dogs over Tomoe, over Hanma and Toriano. Strong Style over Gorilla of Destiny. TMDK over over Chaos. And LIJ over Hiroshi Tanahashi, Master Wado, and Togi Makabe. Tomohiro Ishii, Mikey Nichols, fun little 13-minute match, didn't matter. Tama Tonga versus Hanari had some stakes to it, as if Tama won and Evil and Shingo Takagi won the main event, they would have had to have a playoff match, a play-in match right then and there to decide who would go on and be the second place in B block, or C block. And then David Finlay and Eddie Kingston, the winner of that was in. It was a winning you in scenario. Why this was not the main event is beyond me. David Finlay wins, Tama Tonga wins, and then we get to the main event in Evil versus Shingo Takagi. More BS, more bullshit, more crap from the House of Torture. Even LIJ, Shota Tsuji, Hiromu Takahashi, and Bushi comes out to counteract the House of Torture, and Evil wins anyway. Yes, they had Evil be the runner-up to B block, or C block, in this tournament. Absolutely some of the worst booking I think I've seen. The whole entire Evil making out, which, with the press conference, they said this every time. Every time Evil was out there, they said, if Evil said at the press conference, if he did not make it out of B block, C block, he was going to shave his head. That right there should have told everybody Evil was making it out of C block. Just did not want to see it. In D block night, House of Torture defeated Eddie Kingston and Yuta Nakashima. TMDK defeated Ryo Iiwa and Kaito Kiyomiya. Hikuleo, Shota Umino, and Master Water defeated Bullet Club War Dogs. United Empire defeated Takumi Hama and Tomohiro Ishii. And Strong Style defeated LIJ. In final... Now, Alex Coughlin versus Toru Yano, 5 minutes and 7 seconds. This went a lot longer than the actual time because both Alex Coughlin and Gabe Kidd decided to attack Toru Yano from behind, awakening the violent side of Toru Yano, which in my opinion is the best Toru Yano. I actually like that version of Toru Yano over the other Toru Yano. The goofy, goofball Toru Yano we see all the time. I like it when he brings back his dangerous side. So, yeah, he almost tried to stab the heck out of Alex Coughlin with the scissors. That didn't work out. Push comes to shove. Jackhammer 1, 2, 3. He beat him. Jeff Cobb. This one stings, of course. Jeff Cobb. Shane Haste went to a double countout as Shane Haste was not looking to do anything for him. He was looking to help Zack Sabre Jr. So Jeff Cobb gets screwed out of winning block by having Shane Haste cause a double countout and going from there. Zack Sabre Jr. defeated Hiroki Goto, and Tetsuya Naito defeated Hiroshi Tanahashi in what was a fun main event, but yeah, it was that. Now, coming out of the blocks, you had Sanada and Hikuleo in A, Will Ospreay, Kazuchika Okada in B, which everyone knew that was going to be the final two for that one. Evil and David Finlay for C, which nobody wanted to see Evil make it out. And Tetsuya Naito and Zack Sabre Jr., which when you look at it, that was probably the ones that everyone expected. Now, semi-final match night, which was this past Thursday. Alright, this past Thursday, Tetsuya Naito would go on. Well, hold on. We have LIJ defeating TMDK. Gorillas of Destiny and El Phantasmo defeating Shota Umino, and Shota Umino was with the Gorillas of Destiny defeating Strong Style and Hiroshi Tenzan. Bullet Club defeating Just Five Guys. Eddie Kingston, Hiroshi Tanahashi, and Tomohiro Ishii defeating the United Empire. Tetsuya Naito, and then we get to the semifinals. Tetsuya Naito defeats Hikuleo. Will Ospreay defeats David Finlay, which was a fun 17-minute match. Oh my God. Evil defeats Sanada. And then Kazuchika Okada in the main event, 21 minutes, 46 seconds, defeats Zack Sabre Jr. We'll get to my thoughts on everything when we get through all this. Night 18, which was yesterday, they had a gauntlet before the show where you had Bolton Oleg defeat Oscar Lube, and Yota Nakashima in 3 minutes to a gauntlet style match to win 200,000 yen in barbecue and a title shot against Zack Sabre Jr. for the TV title. On the card, you had Hayata and Kaito Kiyomiya defeat Master Water and Hiroshi Tenzan. Strong Style defeat Tamaki Hama and Shota Umino. The Bullet Club defeats Chaos and Togi Makabe. United Empire defeats Los Tengomanos de Japón. Ryusuke Taguchi, Eddie Kingston, Tomohiro Ishii, and Hiroshi Tanahashi defeated TMDK. And the Gorillas of Destiny and ELP defeated Just Five Guys, all 5 of them. And then Kazuchika Okada defeated Evil in a match that went way longer than it needed to, and Tetsuya Naito defeated Will Ospreay in a damn near 30-minute classic, which should have been the finals in my opinion. And then tonight, you had the matches aren't updated on here, but Kaito Kiyomiya and them, I'm pretty sure, won. You had an entirety of matches, and the only match that matters is Kazuchika Okada versus Tetsuya Naito. I'm on the Wikipedia page, and nobody has sat here and updated this like they usually do, so I don't have the updates on all of the matches. But I will say the 2 biggest things that happened in this show. 2 biggest things. Well, I did forget to mention that after Eddie Kingston and them won their match on the semifinals night, I keep saying that, but Hanare came out, laid out Eddie Kingston, and pretty much wants to lay claim to a title match, obviously. Well, after the United Empire's match tonight, in which they face off against LIJ, and LIJ's Will Ospreay actually got pinned by Yota Tsuji, and Will Ospreay also, after losing to Tetsuya Naito, rechristened the IWGP US Heavyweight Championship to the IWGP United Kingdom Championship, which I'm fine with, absolutely. So, tonight, he gets pinned by Yota Tsuji. Yota Tsuji, after the match, holds up the UK title and is pretty much like, I'm coming for this. We'll get to that in a second. Eddie Kingston comes out in street clothes and grabs Hanare, and they fight to the back. Now, the biggest things, I'm pretty sure... Yeah, we'll get to the other one thing as well. That match, you saw, basically, Ospreay, Yota Tsuji, that's going to be a make or break for Yota Tsuji. That's going to be his biggest test to date. Yes, he's had a World Heavyweight Championship match, but it was against Sanada. And, we'll get to Sanada here in a minute. I've got some thoughts on Sanada, but if that match happens at Destruction in Kobe, that right there is going to be that's a litmus test for Yota Tsuji, because no disrespect, because I'm about to disrespect the heck out of Sanada here in a bit, but no disrespect to Sanada on this point. He's not on the level of Will Ospreay. He's not, nor will he ever be on the level of Will Ospreay. So, can Yota Tsuji in a one-on-one singles match hang with Will Ospreay? If he can, he is going to be set up for the next 10 plus years as a major player. Will he beat Will Ospreay? Honestly, if it takes the title off of him, why not? Why not give Yota Tsuji the title and have him run with it? Because Ospreay does not like coming into G1 Climax 34, if Ospreay still resigns the company, he needs to be titleless. So it's like, this is a more focused Ospreay. He's not a champion anymore. He doesn't need a championship. The only championship he needs is winning the G1 Climax 34. Now, the previous match before that, where they had the Guerrillas of Destiny and El Phantasmo taking on Gabe Kidd, Alex Coughlin, Chase Owens, Kenta, and David Finlay of Bullet Club. This match, now, coming out of this, obviously, David Finlay lost to Tama Tonga, and Tama Tonga also lost to David Finlay early in the year when the Never Openweight Championship was on the line. So, obviously, coming out of this, the match for David Finlay is going to be Tama Tonga for the title again. The best, like, their third, that's going to be the rubber match between those two. But also, we have Gabe Kidd and Alex Coughlin, the strong champions, the strong tag team champions. And you figure, okay, well, Tama Tonga is busy with David Finlay. Tonga Loa and Hikuleo could be a tag team. No, 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 no. It looks like it's going to be El Phantasmo and Hikuleo teaming up together to take on Alex Coughlin and Gabe Kidd. So, I don't think ELP is officially a member of the Guerrillas of Destiny, but he has definitely been associated with them because, like, the night that he lost in the G1 Climax, the B block final night against Will Ospreay in that main event, Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa backstage came up to ELP, comforting him and taking him to go have a talk. So it looks like he is associating with the Guerrillas of Destiny for now, and him and Hikuleo are going to be the first ones to go after Alex Coughlin and Gabe Kidd. Will that happen at Destruction? Will it happen at Fighting Spirit Unleashed? Do not know. I do know that the Bullet Club, along with ABC from Impact Wrestling, will be taking on the Guerrillas of Destiny and El Phantasmo at Multiverse United next Sunday. And we'll talk about the finals here in a minute, but let's talk about the World Heavyweight Champion, Sanada. You could not make your World Champion look any more weak. Nobody is buying this guy as champion. And after the way you book this guy in this tournament, the way you book this guy at the end, the fact that you put him in the block with all of the young guys except for Alex Coughlin, who got thrown into the D block. And quite honestly, I think Chase Owens should have been put in the D block and have Alex Coughlin in the A block and have Chase Owens, Alex Coughlin be in there. So it's Kaito Ki, like, it's a bunch of young guys with Sanada, so it makes Sanada look even worse. This guy basically had a cakewalk going he cakewalked through his entire block, only to get to the quarterfinals, seeing, and I guarantee you he's been watching, he knows the tricks of House of Torture by now. It's been 3 fucking years with what they've been doing with the House of Torture, with the bullshit over and over again. This motherfucker comes out in the quarterfinal match by himself. By himself. And what happens? Same shit, different day with the House of Torture. Where's Taichi? Where's Doki? Where's Kanemaru? Where's Taka Michinoku? Where are all these guys at to counteract Dick Togo? Nowhere to be seen. And what happens? Evil beats Sanada. Then, last night, when Just 5 Guys is coming out for their match, you have Chris Charlton, of all people. The dude seems like one of the nicest guys you're ever going to meet. Outright burying the World Heavyweight Champion, calling him an idiot, being stupid, trying to be the noble babyface in the eyes of everybody. It's not a good fucking look for the champion. On top of that, the Just 5 Guys match was the match right before Okada versus Evil. And Okada comes out by himself. And I'm thinking we're going to have the same shit. But no, we didn't. We had worse. You had Okada not just repel Dick Togo, but show and Yujiro by himself. Okada was able to overcome the House of Torture and Evil, all four guys, by himself. And yet you could not book your world heavyweight champion, the guy holding your top prize, to be that strong? You gotta be kidding me. This, like, I know there's people out there who aren't buying a Sanada as world champion. Look at, like, he fought, his first title defense was against two. Hiromu, the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champion. Not the world champ, not a heavyweight, but the Junior Champion. Which I know New Japan likes to do that. They did it before with other, but that was his first title defense. Then, his next title defense was against Yota Tsuji in Yota Tsuji's first official match back in New Japan from Excursion. Match was fine. Probably the best. It's definitely the best match that Sanada has had for that championship since he won it. And then, what was his most recent title defense? Jack Perry at Forbidden Door. That match was mediocre at best. He has not looked good as world champion. And then, tonight, in the semi-main event, you have Just Five Guys versus House of Torture. And what happens? Show ends up beating up. Usually, we get the shenanigans, we get the ref bump, you get the shock arrow after a wrench shot to Taichi, and Show beats Taichi. Then what happens? The House of Torture beat up the rest of Just Five Guys. They have 5 guys, while House of Torture has 4 guys. How could you not be able, how were you not able to counteract just like the House of Torture? So badly that Show and Evil both walked out with the KOPW and World Heavyweight Championship respectively. As if they are their property, and they're not. You could not, like, everybody's been praising Gato, whoever's booking backstage, that's like New Japan Pro Wrestling and their progression, getting the young guys more time, make young guys, it's all youth movement and everything. And then we get to the G1 Climax and we get garbage like this with House of Torture and everything else. And basically just burying the shit out of your World Heavyweight Champion. Honestly, and it's been clear as day since he won the fucking thing. This is Sanada's one and only world title run. This is it. He's not going to win the championship, and like, he's not going to drop the championship to either, which it would be a mistake to have him lose it to Evil. He's not going to lose it to the winner of the G1. He's at Wrestle Kingdom and get it back 6 months later. No. This is it for Sanada. He got his one world title run. He finished his story. He won the world championship, but he's not getting it again. This is his one and only chance, and they have booked him like shit. And I don't know what else to say about that. He has looked like an absolute, like, you know that somebody's title run, or you know something's wrong, when you have Chris Charlton, of all fucking people, coming on commentary, and outright just burying you 6 feet under. Bad. Absolutely bad. And no, we do not get the three-peats of Okada, as Tetsuya Naito will win his 3rd G1 Climax, and the first one since 2017, to bookmark his chance to go to Wrestle Kingdom and vie for the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship, which, unless they change plans and for whatever reason put the title on Evil, which would be a travesty, we're getting Sanada versus Tetsuya Naito at Wrestle Kingdom in a rematch from this year's New Japan Cup, when Sanada beat Naito, left LIJ, and went on to win the World Heavyweight Championship. And looking back on things, I think they should have put the title, they should have had David Finlay win the New Japan Cup and have David Finlay beat Okada, because this entire run of Sanada has been an absolute travesty. And him coming out of the G1 Climax, he looks so much worse off than he did going in. Now, going into next year's G1, if Ospreay re-signs with this company, it's got to be him. He needs to drop that UK title to Yota Tsuji at Destruction. And if they want Kenny Omega versus, that's the thing, Kenny Omega versus Ospreay 3 does not need to have the US title on it at all. It just needs to be Kenny Omega, Ospreay 3, who is the best of the best, and that is it. And honestly, if for whatever reason they go Evil versus Naito, they give Evil the championship, which would be awful. You gotta get Moxley. You gotta get Kenny Omega. You gotta get as much foreign star power as you can to make up for that travesty. But if Yota, like I said, if Yota Tsuji versus Will Ospreay is made for Destruction and Kobe, that's got to be your main event. That's a main event match over Sanada versus Evil, and I usually want to see the world title be the main event match in every show. Not this time. Not this time at all. Overall, this was a very up and down G1 Climax. Main MVPs of the tournament itself, Eddie Kingston was definitely one of 2 MVPs. The top 3 men in the tournament were Eddie Kingston, Will Ospreay, and Kazuchika Okada. Those were your best 3 coming out of block action. Will Ospreay had the match of the tournament in the brackets with Naito. Those 2 had the best match out there. Okada versus Naito was a fine match. It wasn't like, I don't want to compare. It went 34 minutes and 18 seconds. I can't compare. I can't sit there and want to compare to Ospreay versus Naito. But when it comes to those 2 matches, Ospreay and Naito just can't be touched. But that's it. That is it for everything. Hit that subscribe button, comment down below, like or dislike this video. I'll figure out what I'm going to do for next one. Might just be Wrestle Kingdom next year. I don't know. But that is going to be all, and I will see you guys next time.